trying to get out the radio system now. Just got to remove this. And whilst I was doing that, my dad just about got all the aircon gas out.
Done?
All done. All that's left to do is bill James for taking the gas out.
This is the price for your aircon being put out.
$3 grand for aircon, 3 gas. Brilliant.
Okay. There's the airbag module. Luckily on this we can reset that with the OBD, we don't have to actually send that off. You've got these 2 bolts for the dash here, one there, one there. You've then got 2 bolts on the side, one there, one there. Same bolts on that side, and Liam's just undone 2 bolts underneath the bonnet. So that should be everything. And then we need to undo the steering rack and it should lift all out.
That's crazy.
But before we got onto that, we needed a plan for the bodywork. Body shop's here. Allied Automotive, we need your opinion on this reporter. What do you think?
Yours was a lot worse.
Yeah,
That was a wild amount of work, yo. I can't even. Like I said, definitely would be a blessing, man. I would love
Looks expensive.
to have something like that dropped in my driveway. But
Disruption you'll cause, change in the quarter.
that's crazy.
You're going to be better off repairing.
Yeah. You reckon you can do it? Yeah. That's good news for all of us. But what about the door? Let's see how much it's actually saved.
Wild.
Is that just a
This
PPF?
car has PPF.
Oh, no way.
No way that's just the PPF and nothing got scratched, bro. Yo. Drop that shit off at the crib, bro. I'll take it, yo. Cause $30,000 a door, bro. That's wild. That's wild.
I cannot believe it.
Yeah, it's fine.
I cannot believe that.
No way. And it looks like the paint protection film has done its job. That whole door is pretty much untouched. Now, let's get this dashboard out. 2 bolts on one side, 2 bolts on the other, and then my dad and Liam are working away at stripping apart all the parts we need to remove underneath the bonnet. First off comes the strut brace, then the battery, then they need to remove the battery tray. And remember, the car won't start without this battery tray in, because that module underneath it is the fuel module. The coolant hoses and the aircon are going to the heater box in the back, which do all your heaters and your air conditioning inside. And that's all going to come out with the dashboard, because that's how you have to do it before. So you tell me any other way, I'm going to
By the time I'm done with this video, I'm gonna be a certified Porsche mechanic, bro.
say you're wrong. That's the aircon line disconnected. Now it's the coolant feed and the coolant return hose. I'm using these clamps here so we don't lose loads of coolant out the cooling system. Then, when we disconnect these coolant lines, we should only get a little dribble out of the heater box, which should save us having to bleed the system later.
Yay!
Load that up. And now the dashboard's ready to come out.
It's just your whole dash is just look like coming out of the car now.
And you can see the whole thing lifts out as one.
So random. So much pouring out. Oh, that's a great view.
Right. That is the dashboard out.
Ludicrous, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now have a look at here. So
where's this pyro?
there's your pyro fuse
That's your pyro.
in there. The pyro fuse is in there, and that's what's stopping you from starting the car. So
I don't make it easy there.
no, not at all. Right. There she is.
That's it.
And all that.
I mean, you gotta take apart this whole dash and all this shit just to get to the pyro fuse. Replace the pyro fuse. Just so you can get the car to turn on.
That's
It's crazy.
There is the power from the battery, goes down here, onto that, and allows all this body electric to power up. But the one thing it's stopping the power going to is down this wire here, which goes directly to your starter motor. And that's why it won't start. So if you took that off and moved that to the side, it'd start. I have no idea why Porsche put the pyro fuse in this location, as when all the airbags do deploy, this adds a bunch of labour to the cost of getting the car back on the road. And on top of the airbags deploying, the seat belts will also lock out. that's another part that we need to remove. Right,
Jesus.
next step. We've got the seat belts. Where are the seat belts? The seat belts, which are here, they're completely locked out. So they're going to need to be sent off and get reset because these lock out.
Yo, all he did was hit that wall. I'm not gonna say all he did, but yo, he hit that wall at 80 miles an hour, and all he got was a scratch on his PPF and a crack headlight, bro. That's crazy. And the bumper. Granted, these are Porsche parts, but still, yeah, that's crazy.
An accident to hold you back into the seat, even though they weren't wearing them, they was wearing harnesses. To get these out, we've got to take the roll cage out so we can get all these panels off, and on top of that, we might as well get these curtain airbags off, which go down and sit behind the rear door card. So let's start removing all of that. First out is the roll cage. Cage out. Now I can start removing all the trims and the rear door cards so I can access the seat belts.
Seat belts are out. Now we go into the seatbelt lady. There's the seatbelt lady.
What, shall
24 hours, please.
I'm not a magician.
The seat belts are going to be sent off to the airbag team to have the explosives reset on them. Now, we've got to lower the roof lining down so we can access the curtain airbags to remove them. There's 3 10mm nuts at the back holding the actual explosive canister to the chassis of the car, and then the rest of the airbag is held in with clips along the A-pillar. I'm removing one side, and my dad's removing the other. That's the airbags and the seatbelts removed. This car is stripped. Right, what we're going to do is get this top
That's so
half of the
much
dashboard
worry, yo.
off, because this piece needs to be repaired, this lever on the dashboard, and re-stitched and fixed, and then we can put the new airbag in from underneath. But if we're going to have any hope of doing this in 24 hours, we want to get it off now, so then when we get it back, all the parts should arrive. Of course, 24 hours later, we're going to pause it whilst we're waiting for parts. But let's remember how all this come out, and I think I do remember. It's quite fresh on my mind. Now, this is something, if Porsche were repairing the car, wouldn't be able to do. They would have to replace the dashboard as a whole, which would, one, add massively to the cost of the repair, but also add to the time taken to repair it. Because each one of these dashes have custom stitching in, depending on how the customer spec the car. Lucky for us, we're not Porsche, and we're not going to be wasteful. We can actually repair this dashboard.
I'm not gonna lie, if I put this back together, half these screws is not going back in.
Back to a state which is as good as and as safe as new, using the original type of glue which holds down the compartment which holds the airbag in it, and the original style stitching. But to get the fabric part of the dash off, I've got to remove all the trim surrounding it, like the instrument cluster, the clocks on the top, the glove box underneath. All of this has got to come off. And to be honest, this probably would have been easier to do inside the car, but we're here now. Finally, I'm undoing the bolts, which hold the passenger side airbags that are underneath of the dashboard. Once they're undone, I can slide the airbag out. And there's 3 connectors on it. Got to disconnect all those connectors, and finally, remove the airbag. It's not repairable. Hi, James. Hi, James.
That's crazy.
And now, that's the fabric part of the dashboard away from the frame of it. We've just got to get that sent off for repair now. 19 hours, 40 minutes remaining. Next step, now that the dash is out, we've still got to get all the damaged parts off. The body shop want the rear bumper off to repair it, and they want to access the rear quarter by having the rear bumper off. So we're going to get the rear bumper off because that's a big job, and whilst they're doing that, I'm going to take this wing off, headlight out, and the front bumper off, and that is all the damaged parts off. We should be able to get a good indication of what parts we need. That also needs to come out. Let's go. Let's get this car back in the 2-post ram. And start removing the rest of the damaged parts. My dad's removed the diffuser, she's off, and now Liam is working away.
That diffuser's probably like 20 bands.
Whilst I'm in the front, working on the front bumper. Anything damaged is coming off the car, being noted down, so we can make sure we can order a new one. James wants his car as original as possible, so all the parts that we're going to be ordering are going to be from Porsche. It's going to be interesting to see the repair bill at the end.
Hey, after about half an hour, Matthew, this look, we've got it out, we've got it out. It's dropped.
Literally sweating.
I know, it's been half an hour, that's why. It's been final piece is coming out, Marky. Look at that. That is now ready for the body shop, isn't it? Minus the ball coming off.
The rear quarter is now stripped, which is going to help the body shop out a lot when they try and push and pull those dents out of the quarter. And I'm undoing the bolts which hold the front bumper in place. And I'm going to work out what's salvageable off it and what isn't.
I'll take that front bumper. I'll put that shit right on the Tesla. Don't play with me.
This off, lights out, bumper off.
Done. We've taken apart these GT3RSs plenty of times, so we know exactly how to get this bumper off. And we're doing pretty good on time. And now we're the final bolts to undo the wing, which are just behind the front door. And once that's out, we disconnect a few of the wires.
Between this and the SF90, two of my favorite automotive designs on a car, man.
And that is most of the damaged parts off.
6 hours in, and we've done a full strip down. Everything that needs to be stripped down is stripped down and off. All the damaged parts are off, bar the wing mirror. Not bad. So this car now is going to go to the body shop because the body shop have got the biggest amount of work to do on it. So whilst we wait for the dashboard to be fixed and everything like that, we might as well replace this power fuse so we can actually put the dashboard back in place. So this is the only reason why the whole dashboard had to be removed. Else we could have just took that leather top off with the dashboard in place. But when needs must. Out comes that one, which should be broken. And here's our new one, £15 off eBay. Before the new one goes in, I want to actually make sure it's not broken, because if we have to pull this whole dash out again because of that, big problem. Okay, so that makes a connection. We should have that same sound when we do this. Yes. Good news.
This is another thing that Porsche wouldn't have been able to do if they repaired the car. They don't sell the pyro fuse separately. They would have had to replace the whole fuse board, which again adds more cost to the parts list. But with that pyro fuse in place, I now can start lifting the dashboard back in.
Here we go.
I already know I can lift all the fabric and the airbags into the dashboard without having the full frame out of it. So I might as well put the frame back in the car and connect up all the bolts whilst I can, being as efficient as possible. So that's pretty much what a dashboard looks like without all the instruments on it and the leather top. We're connecting back up the coolant lines and the aircon lines at the back so that when we get the car back from the body shop, we don't have to waste time connecting all this back up. I also need to remove the door card on the right hand side, and that's because I need to remove the damaged wing mirror. Once the door cards are removed, I can access the bolt to get it out, and that's job done.
That is ready to go to the body shop. Off it goes.
Now, we didn't actually have the timer on how the body shop's worked, but I'm sure they'll give us a bill at the end of it of how long they actually spent getting out all the dents and painting the 3RS. And the way they got the dents out was like this. Most of this car is made out of aluminium, which is really flexible.
That's crazy how they
body
make
shop are
that
able to
work.
pull it and work it back into its original position. But they have to be super careful not to pull it too much, because as soft as aluminium is, it can break. With plenty of time pulling, pushing and hammering, we finally get the quarter into a spot they can work with it. And then start sanding it so they can work out where the high spots and the low spots are. And after that, it's time for a coat of high build primer. And already it's looking so much better. Again, if Porsche were repairing this car, I would guess that probably they won't be able to do this type of repair. They maybe just quote for a complete rear quarter, which again adds to the labour cost and the parts cost. Before it goes into paint, we need to remove the damaged windscreen, cover up half the car that we don't want painting, and we're ready to go.
That's dope.
On goes the first layer of the orange. This is what pros call a paint to sample colour, which I believe you pay extra for. Luckily, the body shop can mix up that exact colour. And to make sure it all looks nice and clean, they're painting the quarter and blending it into the door. And we're going to need a new front wing and a new bumper as well. So pretty much the whole of the right side of
By the way, when they say front wing, they're talking about front fender. In the UK, they call it front wing.
the car is going to be resprayed, but that will really help with the final finish. It's just the clear coat going on now. And the body shop have completed their work.
That's crazy.
Back to us.
Here she comes!
Now we're not going to restart the clock until we start work on the car, and I don't think that counts as pushing it. That does not count as work.
Oh, yes, it's looking brand new. Oh, yeah, the paint
That
is
wing
so
is so
fresh, you
fucking
can
massive.
smell it. Oh, look at the quarter. What a job, boys.
Now it's time for the build-up. Everything damaged is off the car. It's time to make it complete again. Over 17 hours remain. The clock is not ticking down because we're not working on the car just yet, but I'm about to.
The dashboard has been fixed by Auto Trim. All this has been repaired, re-levered, and actually re-glued with the special glue that you need for the airbags to deploy again and for it all to be safe. So that is all repaired and good and ready to go in there.
All we need to do is
Literally the
install
most stressful part,
the airbags to the
putting this
bottom
shit
of
back
the
together, because I
dashboard.
wouldn't know.
Can't forget
I don't know
that.
where any of them
There's
screws
an
go.
airbag on the dash and
Unless it's like a
there's an
Subaru
airbag
and they
in
only
the
use
car.
10 mil.
Here's all the airbags. I think we've got steering wheel, passenger airbag, and 2 curtain airbags. My next step, I think, I'm going to build up the whole interior just to make sure this car actually starts, because we've never had it started since it's been here, and now we replace the pyro fuse. Then at least we can drive it, move it around, and then we can begin building up the exterior. Just under 18 hours left. We're doing good. I think we're doing not too bad at all.
I'm not putting that shit back
Yes,
to
that's
18
it.
hours. That's crazy.
The frame of the dashboard is already in, so we've just got to lift the lever onto the top of it and bolt it all together, making sure that all the
2 days.
cables and things like
Max.
speakers route the correct way underneath it. Here it is. One new explosive. The next job is the passenger side airbag. The reason we had to get the dashboard repaired, this bolts in from underneath. 4 bolts which hold it to it, and 2 bolts which hold it to the frame of the car. Then there's 3 electrical connectors that we've got to plug onto it. After that, we can move on to things like the speakers. This is really time-consuming work, but it's got to be done. Everything goes into this dashboard in a certain order. Sometimes you find yourself putting one thing in, to having to take it back out again. All the top half of the dash is in, airbags in, glove box in, cup holder, back in, screens, back in. Liam's just de-wiring the Race Logic lap timer thing, James wanted to take that out for now. We've still got this centre console to go back in. That's all wired up and connected. I've just got to put that up there, bolt that in. All the trims have got to go in. There's also the steering column, I've got to connect that all underneath. But we're nearly there. Then we've still got the centre console and the rest of the back of this interior, which we're getting there. But it's bit by bit, and hopefully
They
we'll
take
get
apart
the
the
first
back.
start up since the crash after this, because hopefully that pyro fuse works. Nearly
Like this will check for
continue to put together this dashboard.
damage to the
Trim
chassis
by
from the inside.
trim. We finally got there. The seatbelts have come back from the airbag team. Let's
Let me get some drink.
start installing. The seatbelt explosives have been reset, and now we can refit them back into the car. This is perfect because they're the OEM belts, so it looks as if nothing's changed. Next up, the curtain airbags. Bolt into the actual chassis of the car and clipping in along the A-pillars. Electrical plug goes in, tighten it all down, and that's job done. We should have thought about this logic there, and because he's going to go back on track and use it as a track car, we shouldn't just not put any airbags in. Because if he deploys again, it's going to be an auto. We should have made it pure track car. No pyro.
Is this thing
just
crazy?
straight
What's it talking about
bypass
with
pyro
airbags?
fuse, so if he does crash it again, it doesn't deploy. no airbags, pure race car, and take out anything, any weight that you didn't need. So no airbags, no roof lining, no carpets.
But then that would be bad for business for us.
No, because we're still charged to take them out, and you charge actually more. You're not heard like the Superleggera and like the SVJ, where they just take out more stuff and charge more.
Oh, okay, yeah, we'll do that then.
Yeah, so you just take out everything and charge more because you made it lighter.
Yeah.
We're too deep into it now to be thinking about making this a genuine race car. 16 hours remaining.
Sorry, race car, bro.
Next up,
I'll
the
give
new
it what anybody
windscreen.
says.
£1,500 for a brand new screen from Porsche. The adhesive's laid on, now we can pop it into place.
Pocket watch time. Let's see. $1,500. Bear with me, I'm tired as hell. Struggling. Bro, you can't just tell me. Do I click the first link? Maybe I should put what is probably like $1,100.
And it's not only the windscreen that's broken, both rear quarter screens were broke. And these were broken by the curtain airbags. They released so much force that it pushed these quarter glasses out. And this glass is really fragile. It's super lightweight, so any sort of pressure on
That's
it
crazy.
just cracks it. So I've got to be really careful when fitting them. But once the quarter glasses in place, I can go
Walk
back
right in.
inside and start fitting the rear quarter trims in place.
Now I know why he had to replace the back.
So now
Or
leaves me
strip
with
the
the
back.
centre console
Pause.
that I've got to put in. Again, all of this stuff only goes in one way. But because I've done a few of these now, I'm getting pretty fast at doing it. That is the centre console in, the dashboard in. We're missing the airbag at the minute, we're going to put that in. I've still got all of this roof line
Gotta
in.
make this
So
fly.
put in the roll cage, the seats. But
Shout out to Jose
we're
Mr.
working
Macedo.
through
I
it.
got
It
him
feels
coming
like
up
very, very slow
next
progress
week.
on my
So
own.
work on that flyer
but
right now.
I do seem to be making progress, which is good progress. What we're looking at for time: 15 hours and 10 minutes remaining. Reasonable, reasonable. Let's get the rest of the interior in place. The rear carpet can go in, and you'll notice the rear screen was actually removed to paint the car as well. That's something else that we've got to put back in. Then all the seatbelt trims could go in. A lot of this stuff is all on clips, and then it's the window trims. And once the window trim's in place, we can put the door seal back in before moving on to the steering wheel. I've got to take the steering wheel off. I took a picture on my phone to make sure I put it back in the exact location. And we've got to take it off to repair some buttons. Here are the buttons missing. Pasm and Porsche. I don't think I ever sussed out what this button does. But it's meant to go on there and the airbag blew it right off. So, that's going to fit there. And the other one's just completely snapped off.
This is
So we can
RG.
fit them. Then we need to order this wiring for the airbag and we can install it all back on. But the car should stop without that airbag in. We'll just have an airbag light. The pyro fuse goes, then we're an idiot. That PTV button actually stands for Porsche Torque Vectoring, and you can actually adjust the way the differential works and the stability control with that button. Can't say I've used it a lot in my one.
I'm struggling. I'm gonna be tired.
The steering wheel, the wheels are in a straight line. We know that is in a straight line, so now I'm just going to go underneath here and then connect the steering column up to that steering rack. Yeah, I'm on, okay, good, good. Once that's all tightened up, Liam's going to put back in the battery tray with the fuel module. Right, battery, go in. And the battery goes in, and this little platform for a toolbox. Do you reckon James is going to pay the bill?
I don't so. Or is it if they don't pay, we take it away?
Yeah, if you can't pay, we take it away. Yeah. We're coming up to 10 hours labour on it, which is what, like 30 grand? That's about
Literally
30
working on this fly right now.
Now we can put back in the strut bar, which is a good indication to know if your chassis moved or bent. This bar will probably have a big kink in it if it was. But we're all good here.
I wonder if they work. Doesn't matter anyway, because we don't know whether they will work or they won't work, because we don't know what to do, so.
Don't want that coming off. Is it going to start?
What's Friday's date?
Go!
13th.
You got oil in it?
I've not heard a Porsche do that before.
Has it got no fuel?
Okay, just at the moment, Come on, mechanic! Yeah!
That's
I
what's up.
think we've got a few lights on, so we've got, I don't know why it's saying transmission fault, possibly no reverse gear. That's worrying me because that were plugged in all under here, so I don't know whether the bum plugged it or not done something right. I guess we've got to read the codes, possibly got to cancel. We've got engine management light, but I think that is on because we don't have the coolant temperature sensor plugged in. We've got adaptive air fault, which I think is the DRS on the front, and that's it. Good news, 14 hours remaining. Let's get on to the next job. His towing eye here is actually snapped in. It's snapped into the thread, so if we can get that out, that'll be good because we use this crash bar because crash bar's completely fine, but it needs a towing eye to be able to go on track so he can get pulled out of the gravel if he goes in there again, which he might. So I'm going to start by removing the crash bar to see if I can access the snapped off tow eye from the other side. And my dad's going to start rebuilding the rear end of the car. I couldn't get to it through the back,
Can I make
so
another?
it looks like we're drilling it out. Now I've got a self-tapping screw. So we're trying to screw the self-tapping screw into it, and because this is opposite thread, when I'm turning this right, it should start pulling it out. All of this is taking precious time. But I got the self-tapping screw into the broken toe hook, and it was only moving a little bit.
Guess I need to give permission.
Meanwhile, my dad was putting in the air intake in the back, and then some of the arcs lining.
Alright, we're going to try and just completely drill all this out.
It looks like it's coming out, guys. Oh, yes. Go on, Liam. Go on, Liam. Oh, yes.
That's crazy.
That saved James loads of money.
Should we tell him that it took longer to do it as well, so we get the labour?
Yeah, so we'll just say we'll have to charge him for it. We'll just say it's a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a new one. Also, another thing that's happened is the rear screen. So you might notice the rear screen is out. Now, when it went to paint, we wanted to get the rear screen out, but whilst the rear screen was being removed, we know how fragile they are, it made a little crack in it. Can't get round it. So we're going to have to order a new rear screen, but look at it, our labour cost is so high, it's covered in rear screen. We were only joking, Jeff.
You know how much times I've broken shit, like when I was working on the car and putting everything back together? Like, it happens. It happens. Granted, that's a big, I don't know how much that windscreen is, but shit happens, bro.
But the parts list is adding up. Next thing I've got to remove is this front under tray, because that's broken and needs to be replaced as well. Here we go, here's the new under tray bit, which is actually like pretty vital because it's part of all the aero and everything that holds on. I've just realised that it doesn't come with these. They've scanned us. So I've got to transfer all these over first. Once the set clips are transferred, I can now fit the front under tray. And I've got to remove this broken part of the floor DRS system as well. And start fitting the new one in place.
While the young lads are doing the fronts up to the old boy to do the back, things, build the bumper up, and then put it on.
This car is just like a giant piece of Lego. Loads of different pieces all added together to make one GT3RS.
There's obviously one on this side, but we're waiting delivery on it.
What?
You'll be able to watch that later in the video. How exciting!
Meanwhile, I was finishing off putting that front DRS in. So this is the
Oh, no.
DRS, and because there's a lot of air going through that, and that's the goal, to get air through it as fast as possible, it creates a vacuum. That vacuum sucks everything down, so it needs more support, which is why they've got these tethers. Now the tether should hold on to there, but this is a little bit too short, but we should. That looks good, doesn't it? Let's bolt for it. The back end of the car, my dad was ready to put the rear bumper on.
So, are so
And now I can put the bolt in for the tethers which hold the front DRS. Whilst Liam starts taking apart anything that was actually usable off the old DRS system, which wasn't much. You can see we're putting in the motor which opens and closes it here, and then after that, there's a position sensor which goes in, and that tells the car which position the DRS flat is in. And they've got to communicate together. But that's just finishing off putting the final bolts in for the rear bumper, and I've got some
Shout out
more
to
air
Tony.
guides just to put in, which guide air into the DRS and into the front radiator system. And we're all good on the front end now. So we learned this from the Porsche nerds who come and did the Manti kit on the Porsche. See these tethers here? Look, they're loose. They are loose, like that. So if you push them down, then this slides across and that goes tight. If you push it up, then that slides up. So to get a nice bit of tension on it, I just kind of like push it up a tiny bit and then tighten it up. And now that is nice and tight, like the rest of them. Next step. What's next step? The rear lights was the next step. Two on the side and one long boomerang one in the middle. But that's slid all them into place, tighten them down, then the ducktail spoiler can go on. Then it's down to me to build up this front wing, or fender if you're American. I'll take it off the car, fit the petrol filler cap and the mechanism to it, and along with that, there's also bits of aero, which sort of slides and clips into place underneath it. The wing is built up and complete. All the aeros on it is looking sensationally orange, like a tangerine. What's the difference between orange and a tangerine?
One's big, one's small, I think.
So what's this then?
Neither orange.
Liam's putting in the bolts for the wing, and of course, time is still ticking down. The hard thing about all of this is getting it lined up perfect. It was pretty good, that. Just want to see the other side. Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it? Once I'm happy with the wing to the door alignment, I can put in the lower half of the wing. And the wing to bonnet alignment, I'll do later.
Yes, my next job! Repeat! Dismantle the front bumper! Liam, do you want to take part in the next job?
I'll take part in this with
Come on then, Liam.
You
You've got to
do that
put
side.
enthusiasm in it. Come on!
I'm gonna take part in this side, you do it.
So those two started stripping apart the old bumper and getting all the damaged parts off.
I gotta figure out what wide angle lens they're using because that shot's nasty.
Woo! What do you reckon?
That's pretty good.
Oh my god! And I got pretty lucky with the bonnet alignment.
Yay! Oh, Liam's moving there.
Here's one headlight looking a little bit sorry for itself. These headlights aren't the LED matrix, all singing, all jazzy headlights which you'd have to spec from new. I don't exactly know the difference in between, I just know they were cheaper. And you know what Porsche people are like, they know if you bought cheap headlights, they're like, oh look, he's got the cheap headlights. But lucky for James, these headlights are the ones that were spec'd with the car, and the cheapest to replace.
That works
I've just
out.
got to remove this module here, which is the actual part which powers the headlight up. And we shouldn't need to code the headlight to the car because we're using the same xenon part here.
Wow! Now it's time for the new bumper. Look at that!
Something we couldn't get away with not replacing was that front bumper. But there's loads of other parts which builds it up. So my dad and Liam are on with doing that. 11 hours left. Woo. Slide the new headlight in place, bolt it in with the 2 bolts, guide the wiring where it's meant to go, clip the connector in place, then have your fingers crossed that it all works.
Yes! It is working!
Yeah,
Good?
yeah.
Yeah, boy!
And whilst I've done that, Liam and my dad are still building up that front bumper, but they're almost there. So I jumped back onto the rear
So
end of
many
the car,
pieces to put back.
slid the diffuser in place, put all the bolts in for it,
Of course, you
and
put the
called it a day
diffuser on.
there.
Look at that.
2 hours this talk. It's up. It's ready to go on. 9 hours remaining. Let's get this on. Hopefully, we should be towards the final stages here. Now we're hoping that James sort of changed his mind about crash damaged cars after this, because he'll drive it and think it drives exactly the same as it was before it was even crash damaged. But if you're a little wary about crash damaged cars, there's a place you can go to check out whether your car was damaged, just to make sure you're not buying a crash damaged car, and that's car vertical. All you gotta do is put a registration plate in or a VIN number in, works in over 20 different countries, and it'll tell you if your car was ever previously damaged, whether it's had any mileage fraud on it, whether it's even stolen, and it will give you a full timeline of the whole car.
Have you car vertical checked your car?
No, Matt did.
Can you tell us another fact about car vertical?
There are pictures, or sometimes are pictures, of the accident damage that's happened to the vehicle.
These things hold the bumper in, sort of like slide in, if I remember right. Yeah, that's in. That's in. Bumper held on. We just need to put some bolts in and the front splitter. And remember, after this video, if you haven't already checked your car out on Car Vertical, then you need to be doing it. And the link is in the top of the description box below, so you can click on it, use my discount code to get a discount on that check to make sure your car isn't crash damaged or the car you're about to buy. Let's put this front splitter on. The front splitter just slides into the bumper and then it's bolted from underneath. And once the splitter's on, the bumper's complete. Now Liam and my dad are starting to put in the wiper cowling, whilst I'll put in all the trims that should be underneath the bonnet. Luckily for James, none of these actually got damaged in the accident, and they just slide in.
I'm like so
and then
picky when it
clip
comes to
down
this
into
flyer
place.
stuff. Right now, I'm looking at a couple revisions
Next up,
for
the wiper
Jose's
blades.
live stream.
Tighten them down, making sure they're in the right place.
Like I said, the energy you put out, the
And that's
energy you
job done there.
receive. So if it looks cleaner, it's more professional.
starting to
You'll
come
guard
together
that
now.
attention.
Got the new race mat. Guess which is the new one? You're right.
That's
And
crazy.
I've got the new front arch lining. With all the stickers on, we'll keep it on like rappers do with their hats. All of the spats and the splitters on the bottom of the car are made out of plastic. Porsche apparently did this because if you are going to get in an accident or things get scuffed and chipped, it's mainly going to be the plastic parts that it's going to happen to, which keeps the cost down when you go to replace them. Although they are still pretty expensive. This is
The hell's
probably
that
one
on
of
the
the
wheel?
reasons why this repair, like actually genuine, people will be thinking this is mental figure, but this repair would have been close to £200,000 to do one Porsche. And
I believe it.
one of them,
I believe it.
because
It's
of
a lot of
these
work, bro.
magnesium wheels. This is damaged, and Porsche won't replace just one wheel. You've got to buy them all 4 wheels. Same as if a brake disc has got a chip in it. You're replacing all 4 of them. So this would be part of the reason which adds ridiculous amount of money onto the repair bill. Luckily, we've got a solution for this wheel that's going to hopefully tighten up before the 24-hour ends. That one's on. What up? Okay, it's looking good, it's looking good. Next step now, build up this steering wheel, and I think this is the reason why we've got a transmission fault coming on the dash saying possibly no reverse gear. I'm hoping I've plugged everything in the centre console, but what I think is coming up with that is because there's no wiring in here for the flappy paddles, so maybe that's why it's giving the transmission fault. I can only hope that plugging in all the wiring for it, which we've now got, we'll solve that, which is over here. So I'll plug all this in. My dad is going to build up this wing mirror because some of the clips are broken on there, so we've had new wing mirror bottom and this all replaced. So we've got a fresh wing mirror and a wing mirror cap. Let's continue. At the minute, none of the buttons work on the steering wheel. That's because it doesn't have this wiring. This wiring goes into the clock spring, which sort of works like a gyro on a BMX bike, and then transfers the power to all the buttons on the steering wheel.
Makes sense.
No transmission fault anymore.
Where's the
Aerodynamics fault, tech tyres, and airbag fault because we've not got the airbag in. So, my theory was correct, that if that wasn't plugged in, you get a transmission fault. So, next step, plug the airbag in. We should be able to get rid of the airbag fault. And then we should, after that, plug in and get rid of the aerodynamics fault because that needs calibrating because it's a new DRS on the floor. I think I know how to do that. But Dad's still building up the mirror. I'll build up this. Let's go. And whilst my dad was tearing apart a mirror to fit the new mirror caps, which don't have broken clips on it, I was getting the airbag. Here's the airbag, brand new. And it comes with funky foam. With the battery disconnected, I plug the airbag in, and then it just pushes into the steering wheel and clips in. My dad's completed the mirror. We're coming up to 6.5 hours left, and I can slide the mirror into the door. I had to remove the speaker so I could grab the wiring for the mirror and pull it down through the door, making sure it goes around the window regulator. The last thing we want is when we put the window up, it to catch on the wiring for the mirror. Once the mirror is plugged in, I can then slide in the one bolt which holds it to the door.
The door card is coming in.
Right, no rush. Then finally, we can add the door card. There's 2 plugs on it. There's then the cable which opens the door, and then we can push down the door card into place and tighten up all the bolts to hold it on. Tell me if it goes good. We just need to make sure that the window is properly aligned now.
Very good.
Very good. Very good. 6 hours remain. On goes on the side skirt. It does have a few scuffs on it, but we chose to reuse it to keep the cost down.
We're going to put this little side aero indicator flappy thing on.
This has a wire going to it because it has an indicator in there. Liam's got to slide it through, and I've got to somehow grab it on the other side and plug it in.
Yeah.
We ended up having to lift the door up anyway because there was another trim that needed to go in there.
No. Next job, rear screen. There's only one person important enough to do that, and he ain't here.
Here's the new rear screen. We had to replace this because it broke when
Sorry
we took
guys,
the old
just
one
still
out.
trying to bang on
That's
this
got a
flyer.
full primer on the screen and on the body of the car. And once the primer's in place, it can then apply the adhesive. We can now lift the screen up, which is super lightweight and
just trying to
really
bang this
thin,
out so
so
we
we've got
can
to
get
be
this
really
posted.
careful with it. Slide it down into place. and
Shit,
put
the
the
new
tape on to
guest
hold
that's
it
coming
down.
up.
4 hours 52 remaining. Now the final trims can go on the back of the car. These are the covers for the coolant fill and the oil fill. And I could go inside the car
Push it
and
Friday
connect the
the
connections
13th.
up for the rear screen
No
heater.
way.
Once they're in, I can
That's
start
crazy.
re-putting in all the trims on the interior. That's in. Roll cage next. The carbon fibre roll cage can now go back in. 4 bolts at the back which hold it in place. Then another 4 at the front.
The roll cage.
With the roll cage in, I can now lift in the passenger side seat, connect up the electrical connections on the bottom,
seats, man,
and do the
everything else
same
is free.
with the driver's side seat as well. 3 hours, 48 minutes remaining. Check this out. All the seats are in. Lovely
Car's
stuff.
so nasty.
The only light on the dashboard now is aerodynamic fault. You can see that there.
It's not
And
bad
that
for stripping
is
apart for you.
because we've installed
60% of a car.
the new DRS at the bottom. And I hope this works. So, the fault is engine aerodynamic flat on right, not reference. So the rear spoiler warning message in the instrument cluster is requested. Now I've got to work out how I did this on mine. Aerodynamic flat referencing. Right, let's reference our flaps. Ready? Did that work?
Whoa.
Fucking
The
computer.
flaps are referencing.
Routine succeeded.
You wait there, you press it, and I'll go down here. Go on then. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
he's
definitely
good money.
moving.
Close the door. And we got a lot on dash. Fuel. Tyres. Nothing else, baby. Let's start it over, just check. Yes, look at that. An empty dash.
Oh, that feeling when you install something, everything works together good, and it just works. It's crazy.
And it needs tyre pressures. And we're about to solve one of those things. These wheels are cooked. 2 off. There's no saving them. At least 2 of them anyway. Look at this. Oh my days. Does he know they're this colour?
No.
Does he not know? Did he want them this colour?
He wanted them the same colour as OEM, but we made the executive decision
They look wicked.
to go for that.
They do look good. Yeah, they do look good. These are mad. These are mad. So these are from Wheelmania, and they are Vossen collaborated with Champion Porsche. Is that right?
Yes, Vossen Champion RS7 4 wheels.
Champion Porsche. They're our boys in Miami, and we went there. These look really good. So if James don't want them, I could always swap them out. Wheelmania have come through. Look at the width on them. Are these all OEM?
13 with 21 rear and 10 with 21 front. So matching up.
How wide is that rear wheel?
So if James don't want them, I could always swap them out. Wheelmania have come through. Look at the width on them. Are these all OEM?
13 with 21 rear and 10 with 21 front. So
Right.
matching OEM, yes.
Same as OEM. They just look cool though. These wheels are going to add a little bit of spice to James's GT3RS. And there's only one place we could have got them from. Wheelmania, of course. We've just got to hope, 1, it looks good, and 2, James likes them. They look sick. We're not going to show you full car just yet. We're nearly done. But if you want to grab some wheels from Wheelmania, also a massive thanks to Champion Porsche and Vossen for these wheels hooking up with James, because this car looks wicked now. You can go grab some wheels with a link in the description from Wheelmania. That is banging. We've got the last few final touches to do now before James comes. 2 hours 58. Final touches to do, which is clean up. There's a mirror glass to go in. Then James is coming to see the full car. Let's go.
I would lose my mind
James
seeing where
is
it came
here.
from.
After
Lose my
our
mind.
24 hours of labour.
I'm nervous.
Are you ready to see it?
I'm nervous.
I'm nervous
for a while.
I'm nervous for you to see it because it's actually gone well. I'm most excited to show you the wheels.
Okay.
I'm most excited to show you the wheels because I
Tearing
don't
up this
know
ginger
much
ale right
James
now.
know about it, and I don't know if you do, but they do look really, really good.
Do they look cool?
I think they look really
Well,
good.
a glimpse, I was like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna work.
No,
Let's
they
see,
look
let's see.
really, really good.
Let's just put it this way, it wasn't spec like that.
No.
So it'll be interesting to see how it looks.
Okay, we ready? Liam, we're gonna put it off.
We'll put it off.
Come on. Right. Here we go.
No way! It's like box fresh! What the hell? The wheels work! I cannot believe that!
That's crazy.
What a transformation this GT3RS has been through in such a short period of time. What some would have declared a write-off,
Shout out to the PPF, yo.
we gave it a new
That
life.
PPF say that car is ass, which is amazing.
Bro, I can't believe you thought that! That's absolutely bonkers!
It looks amazing, doesn't it?
That's ridiculous!
So we haven't put the GT3RS sticker on the side because on that side it's
Yeah.
over the top of the PPF.
Okay.
So whoever PPF'd it must have took it off, PPF'd it, and then put a new one back on. So
it is brand new.
the whole
It's
car
brand
is
new.
literally like looking
That
brand
is
new.
ludicrous. That's so daft.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the keys
But
inside.
still, he hasn't stopped
The last
flying.
time I was here, I was carrying the other side of that dashboard. Thinking there's no way. Thinking there's no way this is going back together again.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So, we've got the parts list on my phone. Parts including body shop, including dashboard repair, including the trailer. Comes to
How much do you think it is?
70?
parts.
Yeah.
4, 3, 0, 6, 1, and 9p. That's including that as well.
Yeah.
We still have 2 hours and 56 minutes, so we're willing to do a discount. So
That's crazy.
That's like, I don't know.
What?
We're not willing to, we've got mates and family friends, so we're willing to discount that. A total price of £43,061. Yeah, that's it. 0 now. In 24 hours, we've actually managed
came out
to
perfect.
rebuild a car this time. Go subscribe to James because he's now about to go and drive it, hopefully. That's so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out. The glass.
Wait. I know who should fit this.
No.
Alright guys, that wraps up tonight's stream. Thanks for pulling up. We got more coming. We got guests coming. And like I said, this will be a different vibe from the podcast. I'll still be putting together the podcast. It's going to be a more professional look. Got a new set. It's definitely going to be dope. I know you guys are going to like it. Next week, we got Jose Mr. Macedo. He's pulling up, talking shit. Just chill with us on the stream. Then we got a couple other people coming up. We got Cass coming up. And other locals, some new faces that you guys haven't seen. You know, it's good to catch up with old friends, but I want to introduce some new faces on the stream as well. Till to the next time, I'm going to crash out. See y'all. Peace.